right, so hello everyone. Today is March 24th, and we will be doing a walkthrough of the My Investment dashboard, which is known as our more robust and active trading platform at National Bank Direct Brokerage. So think of this as an additional tool that is customizable to your trading needs, and it's completely optional. So if you have your own accounts, feel free to follow along if you already signed up for access. If not, I'll show you how to do that afterwards. Perfect. Okay. So first, our regular platform itself, it already provides a lot of valuable information that you have access to as long as you have an NBDB account. So for those of you that don't have an account with us, I would suggest that you open one. You can do so either online or at your closest branch. And once you've actually logged in, this is our basic classic platform. So this platform itself already provides a lot of information for your trading needs. However, to access the My Investment dashboard, it's also M.I.D for short form. There is a specific button on the top right-hand side, which you'll have to click. So while we kind of give this a couple seconds to load, if you don't see that M.I.D button on your platform already, that means you don't have it added to your platform yet. So I'll show you how to do that closer to the end. So I just launched the M.I.D platform, gave it a couple seconds to load, and you'll notice that M.I.D, it does open on a separate browser. So it is browser-based. You don't have to download anything. It's a web-based program. No fancy software or applications is necessary to access M.I.D. So as long as you're connected to the internet, have the latest necessary updates on your phone or computer, I do suggest that you use this on Chrome, but it is compatible for other internet browsers as well. With all of those checkboxes, you can pretty much access M.I.D anywhere, whether it's at home or in your office or on a beach somewhere warm. So what you're seeing right now, this is essentially how I've set up my first workbook. So I've created this for myself. And remember when I mentioned that M.I.D is fully customizable? That's exactly it. So we're actually going to be customizing a few workbooks today, and I'll show you some of the widgets that are made available on M.I.D. So essentially, if you don't like what you see here, or maybe these things aren't necessary to your overall trading priorities, then feel free to build it however you like. So what we'll actually do is you'll notice on the top left-hand side, there is a main menu. So we're going to be referring to this main menu quite often because this is where you're going to see all of your widgets, some tutorials. Think of this as like a profile or a settings page for M.I.D in particular. So just kind of recap again. It's always on the top left-hand side, the three horizontal lines. So once you click on that, this is where you can look and add the different widgets to your workspace, and then you have 10 workspaces that you can actually use and build. So think of the idea of a workspace as a blank canvas. So how to go about setting up your preliminary workspaces is under settings, so top left. This is where you can change things like the time, the date format, whether you want it in dark mode or light mode. I won't use dark mode throughout the presentation, but I'll just show you because it's usually a lot easier on the eyes for all of you when it's on light mode, but you do have the option to toggle between dark and light mode. Just like that. And let's actually jump right into it. Let's build our own workspace. So it always defaults to 1. I do want to start off with a completely blank canvas. So we'll start off with workspace 6. So when you start off with a new page, this little hub window will pop up, which is where you can select some of the pre-made windows. So a good starting point might be you want to see where your portfolios are doing. show your own accounts in your own workspace. So once you click on portfolios, you can just click on your name and it will show up as all of your portfolios, all of the holdings within each of your accounts. So you'll notice that all your accounts are on the top and you can just cycle through in order to see the different holdings. For the purpose of the test account, I only have holdings in a Canadian margin, but you can see all of your holdings, the balance, and all of the typical information like the current price, any unrealized gains and losses, the weighting, so how much you hold of this company in your account. And let's say you want to add even more columns. You can do that. So you'll notice top left side of the actual portfolio window, click on the 3 horizontal lines. And if you want to add more to your columns, click on Define Columns. And this is where, on the left-hand side, you can choose a whole bunch of things to add to your portfolio window. So right now, I mentioned we have the typical current trading price, the trading button, the quantity. But let's say I want to add the book value, for example. So I can click on Portfolio. I already have the book value here, buy value under Canadian, as well as the buy price. So you can break it down by total or the price you bought the shares at. You can also include, let's say, dividend yield. And super easy. You just click on the field that you want and just drag and drop it to the right-hand side. So you'll notice I moved the dividend yield over. Once I click OK, I'll scroll to my portfolio and you see the dividend yield within my portfolio. So reminder, it's under main menu of the portfolio. Click on Define Columns, and here you can pick and choose the different factors that you want to add directly to your portfolio window. All right, so now that I have my portfolio, let's say I want to add charts to my workspace. So we're going to click on the main menu. This is where all my widgets are, and I'm going to click on chart. So let's add a chart, and to look up a company on the chart, there's a little magnifying glass. So click on that, and then just type in a ticker symbol. So let's use Suncor, for example. You can either type in the name or the ticker. Once you enter that, the chart should show up on the chart window. So a couple things you can actually do here. You can customize the time horizon. You can do it by daily or even minute. You can also change the type of chart type that you want. So candlestick, mountain charts, hollow candles. In my case, let's do candlestick chart. What else? You can also add studies within your chart. So it's right under studies, and you'll notice that there is a ton of different studies that you can add directly to the chart. So let's say we'll add some popular ones. Let's do volume. Let's also do relative strength index. And then let's throw in a moving average as well. And here you can even customize the period of the moving average as well as the color on your chart. So instead of red, let's do something like purple, for example. All right. Something else on the chart. I'll actually maximize this for you guys. So on the chart window, we did the studies. Right next to it is the events marker. So here, this is where you can add any markers for stock splits, any related news. They do look something like this. So I'll actually turn on the dividend marker. Once I did, you'll notice that there are these little green squares with a D in the middle. So it's just showing you when the dividends were paid out on the chart. And then I'd say for more precision while using the chart, I like to turn on this little crosshair here. It's like a little target. I like to turn on show the heads up display. And what this essentially does is wherever I'm scrolling on the chart with the crosshair, you'll notice that the top headline, it changes. So it just shows me what the opening and the closing price was, depending on where I'm scrolling on the chart. And I'd say a similar version to this is also this little info box here. I like to turn this on. It's almost like a post-it note. So wherever you're scrolling on your chart, which day of the candlestick, you see a little post-it note of the quote for Suncor on that particular day. And then let's say on this chart, you wanted to do a bit of your own technical analysis by drawing directly on the chart. There's a little pencil icon here. So once you click on that, you'll notice that there is a new banner on the left-hand side that gives you your drawing tools. So this is where you can draw lines, you can draw level lines, channels, you name it. So let's draw a line, for example. I clicked on the line here, and it's just as simple as clicking directly on the chart. You'll notice that once I click, it's almost like a stamp. I'm just pivoting the line, click once to add it, click twice to kind of confirm where you want to place the line. So I'll do another one, just like that. There you go. And then let's say you got a little bit too carried away with drawing the lines on your chart. You can either right-click on the line to delete the drawing, or if you want to start fresh, there's this little garbage icon, bottom left-hand side, where you can just clear all the drawings and you'll start on a fresh canvas again for your drawing chart. All right, and there is another question here. It's a good one. Can you detach windows or windows within M.I.D for a separate computer monitor? The answer is no, unfortunately, just because everything is web-based. So I've seen clients, they're able to duplicate their monitors, but if you wanted to, let's say, open the window on a separate browser, you're not able to. But you can play around with the windows within to see if they fit on, let's say, multiple monitors that you have. But just keep in mind that with M.I.D, you're only able to access on one internet browser just because it is linked to your accounts as well. So just one thing to keep in mind for that. All right, so we took a look at our portfolios, took a look at the chart widget. So let's add a watch list now. So where do we go for that? Again, main menu, top left-hand side, and there is a list button. You'll notice that there are also some categories in the middle here. So we can click on list, and then a new pop-up window shows up. So to create your own watch list, the traditional way is you can just search it up with the magnifying glass and pull it up one by one using a ticker symbol. So let's pull up Suncor. Let's also do BCE. Let's also do National Bank. And then we can do one more, CNR. All right, so that's how you would make your classic vanilla watch list. Let's say you have any existing watch lists. Maybe you created a watch list in the basic platform and now you want to import it to your M.I.D platform. So top left under the list window, click on your main menu, and here you can open the list. So here you can either add either the pre-made list, which is essentially any US or Canadian index. You can also click on watch lists closer to the middle. And these are existing watch lists that I made in my basic platform. So let's say I made one on Canadian banks. I now want to add it to M.I.D. This is the exact watch list that I previously created. And let's say you want to customize the columns within your watch list. Let me expand this for you guys. So let's say you wanted to customize the columns. Again, left-hand side, the 3 lines, click on Define Columns. And it's the same principle as when you're adding the different columns to your portfolio. The right-hand side is already what is embedded in the watch list, but you're free to add a whole bunch of other columns. So let's say we'll add the dividend yield, drag and drop. Let's say I also wanted to add the ex-dividend date. Drag and drop. Market, we'll leave that there. Click on OK. And then you'll notice that the 2 filters I added, the dividend yield and the ex-dividend date, it's now embedded in my watch list. And I think you might have noticed already, but throughout some of these widgets, so we have the watch list, we have the chart, we even have your portfolio, you'll notice that throughout the widgets, they have these little back and forth arrows. So this is actually your trade button. So when you click on any of the trade buttons, it will generate your order ticket. So all you have to do in this case is I click the trade button for National Bank shares. I just have to select which account I want to transact National Bank in, what type of transaction I'm looking to do. So let's say I'm looking to buy National Bank shares. Will I do a limit order or a market order? And then how many shares am I looking to purchase? And then once you're ready to go, click on Continue, review your order one last time before placing the order. Another thing I wanted to kind of give you guys a little heads up for the widgets is that you can actually link all the widgets together. So what this means is if you click on a ticker in one window, maybe I want the other windows to generate the information for that same particular ticker. So to do that for each of the widgets, you'll notice that there is this little icon, broadcast menu. It's like 3 circles form in a triangle shape. When I click on it, you'll see group 1, group 2, group 3. So in order to connect the widgets together, you'll just want to make sure that the group number is the same for each of your widgets. So I do want to link my watch list with my chart. And in this case, if I were to click on National Bank within my watch list, you'll notice that on the back end, my chart also changed to National Bank. And if you want to turn this off, just uncheck the group or the broadcast link. So again, let's say I click on Bank of Montreal. The chart in the back changes to Bank of Montreal, and you can link this with your own portfolios as well. So let's do broadcast group 1. So we're linking everything in group 1. And if I wanted to click on my ZEB ticker, ZEB holding, there you go. My chart has changed to ZEB as well. And this is essentially how you would build your first workspace. So something like this, but I do want to go over some of the features, some of the other widgets that are on the platform. So a feature that I do appreciate on the M.I.D platform is the market overview. So I had this already opened on workbook number 2. Click on 2, overviews, market overview. So this is already preset. So anyone that has M.I.D, you're able to use this market overview. And this is where it includes all the major Canadian and US indices along with the correlated chart for that index. So commodities and currencies as well. You also have the latest news. You can scroll just a little bit down, and this is where you'll be able to see all the companies that are within that index as well. Now, let's say you wanted detailed information for a particular stock. So each of these stocks that make up the TSX composite, they have these 3 dots on the left-hand side. So once you click on it, this is where you can find even more information about that particular stock. So let's say let's take a look at AltaGas. I'll click on the 3 dots. Let's say I'm looking for more information. I click on the fact sheet. And this is where it gives me an overview for AltaGas. It also shows me the chart for AltaGas, any pricing and the markets that AltaGas is traded under, any related news, and all the other fundamental information about the company itself. And let's say I wanted to create an alert for AltaGas. You can do so. Again, main menu, add to your alerts. And this is where you can adjust whether you want a price alert above or below a certain price. And then it'll notify you within the M.I.D platform. Another trick that I want to show you. So this is another way to create a watch list. So let's actually open up the watch list widget under main menu. You can click on lists or click on the list filter, and there's a couple other types of lists you can add. So let's create a new watch list. And now we have a blank list. So let's actually add to it. Here, I'm going to see what I want to keep an eye on. I'm going to essentially drag and drop what I want to add to the watch list. So let's actually switch to the S&P 500. And here you can even customize how much or how many holdings you want to include on the page. So it starts at 5 all the way up to 100, although I do find that 100 takes a little bit longer to load, so try to be mindful of that. But let's say I want to view it at 15 companies at a time through each of the pages. And to create my watch list, super simple. I'm just going to drag and drop it to the watch list. So let's say I'm going to add 3M. So I just clicked on 3M, held my mouse, dragged it over. Let's say I also want to add AMD. Let's go through the pages, and we'll also add Apple as well. So this is what I want to keep an eye on. And let's say you like the list that you created. Don't forget to save your watch list. So the 3 lines, save watch list, and we're going to call this and US picks. There you go, just like that. Aside from the market overview workspace, let's now look at some of the other widgets that are available on M.I.D. Let's start brand new. All right, workspace 3. Let's take a look at the fact sheet as well as the quote. Great, let's link this. All right, and let's pull up a ticker symbol. All right, so if you're looking for a detailed quote for a certain stock, either of these 2 widgets should do the trick. I personally prefer the fact sheet widget, the bigger one, the left-hand side, just because there's a little bit more information, and I also like the integrated chart. But again, it's all preference. They have the same data. Both also have the trade icon, so the little side-by-side arrows, east and west arrows. Let's say I wanted to trade AMD. I can just click on the trade arrows, and my ticket is there for me to fill out. So if you wanted to pull up a quote, these are the 2 widgets I would use. Let's say I wanted to take a look at the news. You can click on either news or news headlines. Again, Same sort of data. If you like reading the news, these two widgets are for you. You're also able to group it as well. So let's say I'll group this in group 1. And now I'm pulling up another ticker symbol. You'll get the quote as well as any related news for NVIDIA in this case. Next, another widget is we have the order entry as well as the order status. Pull this here for you. All right, so when you need to place a trade, this is your order ticket, and when you want to review the order status, these are your two widgets. My personal opinion, I like to trade directly on the widgets. So I think the order entry, just the plain vanilla one, there's a lot of typing that you need to do in order to place your order, which is why I just like to click on the trade icons. But you can do it this way as well. Now, for those that are interested in option contracts, you can actually view them all under the option chain. So let's actually start a new workbook. Click on the widget. And under that, there is option chain. And let's say I'll pull up an option chain for Apple. All right, so this is for those that are interested in option contracts. You can view them all here under the option chain widget. So feel free to sort them based on calls and puts, calls or puts only. You can also sort them by the expiry date. You can also play around with the strikes, as well as how many contracts you want to view at a time. So if you want more information about a particular contract, again, the 3 dots, think of the 3 dots as like a more information type of button. So let's say we have Apple trading at 250. I don't want to view 55 contracts at a time. Let's actually filter it to 15 contracts. And let's default it to calls that maybe mature in about a month-ish. All right, and I just want to take a look at 15 strikes that are near the current trading price, $254. So what are my contracts that fit that window? And do I want to find out more information about these contracts? So because I do, let's take a look at the 250 strike. I clicked on the 3 dots, and here you might want to pull up the fact sheet for that particular option contract. And here you can see the overview of the contract from the price quote. You can also see the chart for that contract, some brief information, any news related to it. And I know I get this question a lot, but if you're interested in info like the Greeks, you'll notice you have the Greeks on the bottom right-hand side. So it's all provided for you there. Just like that. And then again, let's say you found the option contract that you're interested in, that trade button. It's always with you. Click on trade, and then you can just decide either you want to buy or sell the call, in which account, and then just confirm, place your order to place the trade. One thing though is you just want to make sure that your accounts are also coded to trade options. So that's a big FYI. All right, another widget. We do have time and sales access right over there. So let's actually pull it up for Apple again. And with the time and sales, this is where you can view all of the trades placed for a specific company at a specific time, as well as the size of the trade. So the green prints means that there are trades that are executing on the ask price. The red trades mean that there are trades that are executing at the bid price. And anything that's white/black shows that trades went off between the bid and the ask. So that's how you would read the time in sales. And then we also have an order book. So let's go back to main menu, the widgets, order book. Let's pull this up for Apple again. All right, that's the Apple order book. So with the order book, you can get an overview of what prices traders are willing to buy and sell at the specific point in time. So you can kind of see the number of shares traders are looking to buy on the green side, and then vice versa. The number of shares traders are looking to sell, it's on the red side. And then also, maybe you want to take a look at the alerts. So main menu, under the widgets again, let's say I want to create an alert for Apple. Let's type in the ticker symbol for Apple. And let's say, let me just simulate an alert so that it triggers during our webinar. So let's say I'm going to add an alert so that whenever the price is above $254, it will trigger an alert for me. So let's activate. And then you'll notice a little pop-up window on the bottom shows me that my alert was triggered because Apple is trading above the $254 that I set here. All right. Perfect. Okay. So see some questions here on some widgets not appearing. Depends on which package of M.I.D that you have. So I'll go into that closer to the end. All right, another last feature that I want to highlight. It's a pretty interesting one. It's the ability to create virtual portfolios. So what I mean by that is, let's actually start with a brand new workbook. And then we are going to create a virtual portfolio. So I know a lot of you have sometimes asked me, okay, how can I actually simulate a mock portfolio or a pretend portfolio without having to trade within my own accounts? So you can actually do that on M.I.D. So under main menu, if you click on trading, you'll see that there is a virtual transactions widget. So click on add. You can open the list and then create a virtual portfolio. So let's actually build my first test portfolio. All right, let's click on it and let's start from fresh. So this is where I can simulate my own mock portfolio without using any of my own real money. So you can choose which stock you want to buy, what price you want to sell it at. You can essentially create a what if scenario. So let's say I want to buy National Bank shares. And you'll notice that the window that shows up, it's a virtual transaction window. So let's say I'm looking to buy National Bank shares. Instead of at today's prices, let's say I wanted to simulate last week's prices. It'll show me the quote for what National Bank was trading at last Tuesday. And let's say we'll add 10 shares of National Bank in my mock portfolio. You can change the price as well. But for this simulation, let's say I'm just looking to buy National Bank shares at the last closing price on March 17th. So in order to add that to your portfolio, make sure you click on save afterwards. And then there you go. You have your first position in your pretend portfolio. So for those that missed it, let's actually add another one. So let's do TELUS. Let's say I'm looking to buy TELUS at, let's say I bought TELUS once upon a time at $10 a trade. Let's click on save. And then there you go. I just added another position to my pretend portfolio. So you'll just want to be careful that couple best practices, I would say, when you're using this virtual portfolio is start off on a brand new workbook. So that way you're not integrating it with your own live real accounts. I like to keep it completely separate just to avoid any confusion from my own real accounts. All right, so let's now finally talk about the pricing and how to add M.I.D to your own accounts. So let's jump back to our website here. So on nbdb.ca, I'll show you where to find information on M.I.D. So under Platform and Tools, when you click on My Investment Dashboard, here's where you'll see what M.I.D is, what it offers, and the different levels of M.I.D. So the first level is technically the basic version of M.I.D. So this version, it's available to everyone. So you get access to everything that I demonstrated except for the order book and also the live streaming quotes. So that means you can still trade on the platform. You can create your own watch list. You can use the widgets, customize your desktop. But the big difference is that the prices you see, it will be delayed up to 20 minutes. So for those of you that just want to get a general feel or do a test of M.I.D, the basic access is the way to go. Package 2 of M.I.D. So we call this level 1. The next level, it's basically including everything that you get in the basic access, but you get access to the live streaming quotes for both Canadian and US markets. This means you don't have to click on a refresh button. You just have the prices automatically fed to you, and this is for $19.99 a month. Level 2. So level 2 includes everything that level 1 has, and you get the market depth information, which includes the order book and the time and sales. So this is for $49.99 a month. And then finally, for those that need options data, this is an extra add-on if you already have either level 1 or level 2. So any options data, it's $9.99 a month on top of the regular monthly fee. And now let's say you want to give this a try. How about going to add to your accounts? If you want to add it to your accounts, let's go back to your platform. Now we're back to the basic platform. So if you click on your profile, you'll notice that there are quite a few tabs that you can customize your accounts and your profile for the purpose of M.I.D. You'll want to click on subscriptions. You'll see M.I.D, My Investment Dashboard. And when you click on it, you have a choice as to what monthly package you want. So in my case, with my test account, I have the full range of products, but you can see that you can add the basic access, what it comes with, what it doesn't come with. And if you wanted to add it to your account, just click on the package and then click on continue at the very end. And in terms of fees, at the moment, the fees will just be charged directly to your brokerage account. Now, let's say you didn't learn enough today from my webinar, and that's okay. It's very difficult for me to just cram everything about M.I.D in the time that we have. And to be honest, I'd say the best way to learn is to just spend some time playing with it. The basic version, it really gives you a great crash course on how to use M.I.D. And if you like it and you need more bells and whistles, you can upgrade your package. But for the basic access, it's free for all users. And let's say you're looking for more tutorials on how to use M.I.D. Let's go back to M.I.D. And there are a few resources. So we're going to click back on the main menu. Take a look at the tutorials. So bottom left-hand side. And here you can pretty much find a detailed guide on how to use M.I.D. from user manuals. We also have video tutorials and reference guides. Another way or another resource is we also have a YouTube channel. So you can access the YouTube channel on our website. You'll notice on your trading platform, there's a YouTube icon at the bottom. And when you access YouTube, under videos, you'll notice that we also included a little tutorial on how to use M.I.D. directly in our YouTube channel. So I do encourage you guys to just take a look at the short tutorials either embedded in M.I.D. or we also have a good little review on our YouTube channel. And then of course, just to rewind, if you don't have an NBDB account, the easiest way to set that up is you can do so online or you can visit a national bank branch, but you will need an NBDB account in order to access my investment dashboard. And keep in mind, the basic access is free for everyone. So if you want to give it a try, don't forget, you can also enroll in it for free under your profile tab under subscription. And now some last few pointers before we wrap it up with some questions. So again, in terms of resources, you'll pretty much find everything on our website at nbdb.ca. If you want to learn a little bit about the technical analysis, some of the investment concepts, take a look at our Learning Center, just because we have a lot of short and sweet articles. They're meant to be concise, really easy reads for those that want to expand their investment knowledge. We also have future webinars and events. So just like how you found today's webinar, we do have quite a few upcoming ones on the calendar, and they're free to register. And then I also mentioned that the YouTube channel, you can find that at the very bottom, a great resource for more of a visual understanding of how to use the platform, or in our case, how to use the My Investment dashboard. And with that said, that pretty much concludes our little M.I.D. 101 today. So hopefully you all learned something, but I will say that the M.I.D. platform, it's a really robust and advanced trading platform. So it'll be a lot of information to take in from one go. So I do encourage you guys to really just play around with it, take a look at the resources on our website. So for those of you that have never heard of us before or don't know about our offering, you can visit our website at nbdb.ca. And I'd say the standout star for NBDB is our pricing. So we don't charge any commissions for buying and selling Canadian and US stocks and ETFs. So feel free to check that out on our website. And on the nbdb.ca website, this is also where you're going to log in, and then you'll also have access to my investment dashboard here. So again, if you have any questions, feel free to contact the NBDB call center. For those that have existing accounts, I think one thing I will show you is if you don't like to call, you can also send a secured message. So right next to your profile, there's a little envelope icon. And I would say this is where you can get in contact with our call center through a secured messaging. So think of this as an email portal. Any updates on your account, if you have any transfers pending, if you want to do any administrative tasks for your accounts, this is a really great way to utilize the contact feature. Anything that's trade related, you can't do it through here, but gives you two options: to ask your questions or to enroll in M.I.D. If you weren't able to see it under your subscription. And with that said, I hope you guys enjoyed today's webinar. There's a lot to take in, I know, but again, feel free to just play around with the tools available. The basic version is free. And if you have any questions, don't hesitate to just contact us at the call center or through the secured messaging. And hopefully I get to see you all in the next webinar. If not, then I'll wish you all a great rest of the day. Thanks, everyone. Take care.